Are you talking yourself out of getting what you want? You may not realize it, but today I'm talking about the 5 common ways we do this to ourselves and what we should be doing instead. So let's get started.
Welcome to the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, a place for the strong, sensitive, spiritual seeker to recognize the perfection of your human and spiritual worlds through proven and grounded frameworks that support you to live in the wholeness you already are. For over the past 2 decades, I have supported people from all around the world, as well as Fortune 500 companies, to dissolve the divisions within them and live with greater empowerment and love. This podcast is an exploration of the paradoxes that befuddle us as we live our lives being both human and divine. Together, you and I, along with other experts, will navigate integrating psychology and spirituality, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the darkness and the light, to create greater sacred union from within. I believe through your remembering that you are innately divine, that you will allow yourself to more openly shine. So let's get to it, because your unique light is needed more than ever.
Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to I'm Perfectly Divine podcast. Today, I want to discuss with you how you may be talking yourself out of exactly what you want. You may be talking yourself out of getting what you want based on the internal stories you are telling yourself. And I know you've already done a ton of work. You are a powerful person. You take responsibility for yourself. And yet these stories can be such a part of our subconscious uh, frame that we keep going back to and we're not even aware of. And it really starts with comparisons. And these comparisons can be so subtle, so subtle. So I know there's bigger comparisons out there that, hopefully you're not in that place of putting yourself down. But what is interesting to me is that there can be these comparisons where in the past you did use to put yourself down and say that you're less than, but this is even more subtle. This is a subtleness that comes in based on our past that will prevent you from even starting. Like the comparison is like, here's someone else, and that's my stop sign from going and taking that next step that's going to get you what you want. So even if these sound familiar, I want to spell them out because as for all the years that I have been doing this, I could see that until I was truly embodying my knowingness, that these would come up right when I was ready for a breakthrough. And so it's so important that we have our awareness and then are really working at rewiring our subconscious to have different programs so that instead of the stop or the pause, we can keep building that inner momentum that can keep telling us to move forward despite some of these old stories that we have playing in the background. And so the whole point of when we are embodying our knowingness, it's not that you will never have a story from your past show up again. It's I see it and I feel within me, in mind, body, spirit, and emotion, that all these aspects of yourself are growing in alignment with remembering the truth of who you are, that remembers your sacred self, and that knows that the desire that has been part of your blueprint since you were born is meant to come forward. And so everything that you want is actually a sign, it's a guidepost guiding you to more of the love that you came here to be. And so that's what I love about our desires, is that they are actually guiding you to a deeper and deeper expression of the love that you are. And that love that you are becoming and that you are getting anchored in is going to be important for so many others that are in your web of life, that are a part of your day to day. And so we want to do this, of course, for ourselves because it doesn't feel good if we are stopping ourselves from having what we want, but also because of the ripple effect that this means. And that's a deeper spiritual meaning to our desires, is that you are meant to impact the lives of others. And you are here and we are having this conversation because you are ready. And so many times when we hit one of the ways that these stories that we tell ourselves that is coming from unconscious ways that we compare ourselves to others, it will stop us, but it's happening because we are about to have a breakthrough that's going to allow you to move through it and gain more certainty in the truth of who you are. And again, the love that you are. And so this is a journey of knowing ourselves, of self-gnosis, so that we can anchor in and stand in the love that we are, because that feels secure and safe to people. And so we are creating this within ourselves, and then we have this field of energy that allows others to feel safe, and that whatever they are going through, that you are uniquely here to support them through, that you are that steady foundation for them. And this doesn't mean that you have to be a coach or a therapist or anything. I mean, this is our roles as being a parent. This is our role as a sibling, you name it, a coworker. We are meant to have a loving impact on the people in our lives, and we want to anchor this in for ourselves and see how our desires are guiding us to know ourselves even more. And so if there has been a desire that has, you just have tried as you might, and you're not getting to where you want to go, this is an opportunity to look at some of the stories you are telling yourself and where comparison may be showing up. So I want to share with you 5 of the major ways that I've gone through comparisons that have shut me down, where I've seen clients have comparisons that shut them down, and really how you can start to begin to understand these differently and understand what is coming, what is calling for you to come forward through you at this point in time. So let's begin with comparison number 1, which is I'm not ready. Like, how many times have have you thought about, there's something that I want, but I just don't feel ready. I just don't feel prepared enough. And this is really interesting because we are comparing ourselves to somebody when we say I'm not ready. Because in our mind, there's some vision of the person who has all their ducks in a row, who has received what you want, and you are telling yourself the story, I'm not ready, because now at the end result of them having what you want, their ducks are in a row. So this one's very interesting to me because for those of us who've been shamed when we didn't get things right, when we made mistakes, when we were told we had to have ourselves all together in order to be worthy enough, this sense of I'm not ready is playing in the background, and you may not even have words to it yet. But that comparison is, they've got their ducks in a row, I don't. And so it's understanding that you're looking at someone's success story of what they have that you don't, and not their beginning story, which is where you're at, or you're somewhere in the middle of that, right? And so you're not seeing their initial steps. And I guarantee you, in their initial steps, they did not have all their ducks in a row. Okay, so when there is that natural desire of, I want something, I promise you, what comes with that is the next you have within you what is required of you next to take that step. It's already within you. But if we're telling ourselves I'm not ready, then think about what that does. That you've got to be more and more of something, and then you get yourself stalled and even feel stuck, which is going to make you feel even more behind. And so then we get in this predicament where we're not even good enough to try. If this is what our ego is doing with the comparison and telling ourselves that we're not ready. If the desire is there, that next step for you is also you are able and ready to take it. And so really listening to what that next step is for you without going to the end result of where someone else is at and comparing that in an unfair way to you, that's going to set yourself up for failure. It's just not fair. And we all get to take that next step forward without having A through Z planned. For most of us, we're going to we're at A and we'll have B. And if you're lucky, you'll get maybe A, B, and C. But I don't know anyone that's like, okay, I'm at A and I see someone at Z and I've got it all laid out, A through Z, about my next process and my next steps and all those ducks in a row. And if someone does that to themselves, they're going to drive themselves crazy because we know life and life is meant to throw us these curveballs because there is no planning A through Z. We've got to be able to grow as the curveball comes to us when we go to see and how we are going to respond and if we're going to respond from fear or love. And that's the whole point, is that we are remembering the love and power that we are, rather than the fear, rather than the ways that we compare ourselves as less than. And this leads me to comparison number two, which is saying, I'm not going to be any good. I'm not going to be any good at something, whatever that desired outcome is, and who you need to become to be it. Your ego is saying, well, I'm not going to be any good at that. And so it's recognizing that first of all, no one's good at the beginning. So if you're comparing yourself to someone who's inexperienced at doing something that you want to do, then yeah, you're not going to be as good as them, and that's normal. That's the good news, because it's just telling you there's a skill development phase here and you just need to learn the skill. Now, if you compare yourself to someone else who's new and someone else who's afraid of not looking good, starting something new, and someone who also identifies as not good enough, then you're going to be starting off in a very similar place. But notice the aspects that I'm talking about here. There's a skill set here of like, I need to learn how to the steps to playing the piano if I want to be good, to telling a speech if I want to be good, um, to being healthy if I want to feel healthier, right? But then there's the psychological pieces. I'm afraid of how I'm going to look. Well, if I'm more afraid of how I look going to the gym versus I have this outcome of wanting to be healthy, and I know there's healthy people over there that go to the gym all the time and they know what they're doing, but I'm more concerned about how I look, then my ego is already putting the stop sign that is keeping me in a place that makes me feel insufficient and will keep me stuck there. But that same person could not know what the heck they're doing when they go to the gym and be okay with that. And already they're going to be giving themselves an advantage because they're not overly identified with how they look and trying to look good doing something that they're new at. And so again, this can come to us when we were ridiculed as a child, when we were not allowed to make mistakes, when we weren't allowed to learn. And really, you being able to reparent yourself, to be in the uncertainty, to be able to ask for help, to be able to not be good and honor the progress that you see yourself taking that no one else will see but you, and to honor that for yourself as an act of self-love. That's where we show up for ourselves out of love for ourselves, not out of I'm trying to compare myself to be good enough to be seen in a certain way. So if health is the goal, you're doing the health out of love for yourself, not to compare yourself to healthy person over there that you think because of their health now has love or abundance or whatever the ego reason can be for wanting health. So I won't be any good. Okay. So that's normal. And so when we tend to compare ourselves to the outcome that we want, rather than recognize how we are all very similar in the beginning, then this is how we shut ourselves down to the possibility of our growth, the possibility of ultimately receiving what we want. And so we can do this in ways too, where we say to ourselves, like, well, that person has their life all together, and here I am, and I'm all over the place, right? How many times have we looked at someone on the external? They got it all together, and I'm all over the place. Well, again, we are just seeing their external version of themselves, and it may look that way on the outside, but it's likely not how they feel. Or if they have gotten to that place where they feel that more aspects of themselves have come together, I'm telling you, it's a journey. They did not start that way. None of us do, because that is our human journey. It's really that we are in the mess. We are in our unknowing. We are in our uncertainty, so that we remember, because this is the way it becomes anchored in. And so we can take, like, what can I learn from them, rather than use their progress or what we see as their external story as a stop sign for you not to do anything, that you'll never measure up. So again, look at the ways these stories tie into our shame of not being good enough. And remember that you have the power through your choice to choose from love rather than the fear of being not enough. And it's just remembering that life is messy, and it's part of the design of our journey, in remembering who we truly are. So we all know the story of the caterpillar to the butterfly, and that when the caterpillar is in the cocoon before it becomes the butterfly, it is literally a bloody mess. And so imagine if the caterpillar was like, you know what, I'm too much of a mess compared to those butterflies over there. I'm just gonna, I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna stop here. I'll never get it together enough to grow my wings. I'm done. I suck. I'm not good enough. Oh, there is that blueprint that is within the caterpillar that knows this is part of the journey. And so we just have to remember that for ourselves, that the mess is part of the journey. And yay, there's butterflies floating around reminding us, like, I'll get through this too. And rather than the comparison that's telling us to stop. And it's just knowing you can learn the internal skill building to shift your identity. So you're not stuck thinking you're a caterpillar when you are starting to develop your wings. You know, these are skills that you can learn, and it's a shift in your identity so that you can learn how to embody your truth. That's what this is about. So in the manifesting world, people talk about you need to be and then do to have. So you are the embodiment of your truth, and then from that place you are doing, which will automatically allow you to be in greater alignment, or to resonate with your desired outcome. So be the person who knows you're abundant, or be the person that knows that you're successful, or be the person that feels unconditional love. And so this is a big part of how we're taught about manifestation. And while this is true, what I'll tell you is that sometimes we can shift that belief in an instant. But even when that happens, from my experience and working with others, there is a pain place that we go to that then can change our identity. And sometimes it can happen in a moment, and sometimes it's not meant to happen in a moment. And so I don't want you to feel like you are doing anything wrong, because it just depends on how much a story has been reiterated that's disempowering you. So, for instance, if you have faced a lot of rejections with love and have not felt unconditional love, it's very hard for our human selves to embody that I am love. And so again, some people can just be like, okay, I'm going to be that. Others need the steps to allow that metamorphosis to go through. And I would say everyone goes through the metamorphosis journey. There's some journeys, again, that are quicker than others. Some are that dark night of the soul. And and from that dark night, there is that switch into like, I remember who I am. And for others and in other aspects of our life, there's more a descent journey that we go through. And you can learn the steps on how to navigate that, rather than think that there's something wrong with you, that you just can't flip the switch into being the loving being that you are, when you've had evidence in the past that makes you feel rejected. Like this is a part of our humanity. And so sometimes it just trying to push it away is not going to work. I'll just put it that way. But there are skills that you can learn. So I know sometimes in the manifesting world, it can be like, and here's the magic wand, and just stop being this way and be this way instead. But if that magic wand isn't working, I mean, I'm all for the magic wand if it works. But if the magic wand isn't working, there is a process, there is a skill set you can learn to becoming and remembering your truth. And there's no shame in that. And I will be teaching a class this summer on how to do this. So if are not on my newsletter list, part of my newsletter community, please sign up so you don't miss this very powerful training, because I think this is something that people are struggling with. All right, let's move on to comparison number 3, which is this person has a leg up on me. This person has some sort of advantage that I don't. So they were able to have what I want because they have more money, because they have a more supportive partner, because they have kids who aren't struggling with their grades or their mental health. And what I know is that even when someone has a leg up in one area, and certainly that can be true, what I know is that they still had their own resistance that they had to work through. They had to overcome in order to get the outcome where they were able to receive what they wanted. So even when they have the leg up, we don't know the inner workings of what they had to overcome, that maybe you had the leg up on. Maybe they had more money, but you had more supportive parents. There's a plethora of ways. You might be saying, Michelle, I didn't have money or supportive parents. Well, there's other ways where you had experiences in your life that shaped you in a way that was beneficial for you and your story. And we just don't know what theirs was, but I promise you that they've also had to work through their resistance. So if you are waiting until someday when you have the same leg up as they do, you're setting yourself up for this to never happen for you. And I don't want that for you. Everyone is called to overcome their inner resistance. It's called, in the universal laws, it's called the law of sacrifice. And this is where you give something up of a lower nature in order to receive something from a higher nature in your life. So we're exchanging a habit of a lower nature for a higher nature. And if you don't, and you're meant to receive that higher nature, which is what our desire is calling us to do, things will likely get worse. So if we use somebody having a leg up as an excuse, that's just going to get, that story is going to get amplified. It's going, we look for evidence of that. And then we create this whole barrier to us really being able to see that, okay, that barrier is there. Yep, they have that leg up. And wow, if I just walk around the barrier, I can have what they want too, right? It's like when we're knocking at a door and we just we're waiting for someone else to open it, and we just gotta, click the or turn the knob ourselves to make it happen, right? And so we can get so caught up in our stories, like this is the way, and lucky them, they had a benefit to that way, when oftentimes there's more than one way, and you have some sort of skill that they don't have that has given you the leg up that will allow you to receive in the way that you are meant to receive. That's very powerful for you. Number 4, I should be happy with what I have. This one's interesting, right? Because you're saying, like, I already have more than most, so I shouldn't really even want more. I mean, people are suffering, there's war going on, and what you're doing is you are comparing yourself and your struggles to someone else's suffering. And when you do that, you're minimizing your own desire. And you think that your desire minimizes someone else's suffering, and that doesn't. This is where, you're telling yourself A plus F equals Z, and it doesn't. And so it's really understanding that when you are comparing your struggles to others and their suffering, and you minimize your own desire, you are suppressing your next evolution, and you're doing it by calling yourself grateful. So when we do this, we're not just hurting ourselves, we are hurting those that our soul came here with an agreement to impact in a positive way the lives of others. And we aren't just stalling this for ourselves, we're stalling that for them. So this is not to make you feel guilty. It's just calling out that your desire does not, it doesn't take, it has nothing to do with another's suffering. And if anything, the more you are able to step into your desires and receive from life, the more you can help others who are actually suffering. And so if you suppress your next evolution, and by being so grateful for what you have and denying what is meant for you and meant for you to grow into, um, you are limiting your potential, not just for yourself, but the potential to help those that you are meant to help, that you're meant to impact, that you're meant to have a ripple effect in ways that we can't fully comprehend. So you doing this for yourself doesn't just impact you. It is this positive ripple effect in other people's lives that I believe your blueprint also knows that you're meant to have, that you're meant to create some sort of nudge, create some sort of remembrance in them that supports them on their journey. So the more that we can call ourselves out from really kind of bypassing the ways that we can knock down our desire, and instead recognize our desire as a divine guidepost to allowing us to be in more of our power, to make a change in the world that we are meant to, and in helping ending the suffering for others. The more empowered we are to do that, the more we can help others do the same. And then lastly, the comparison of it's already been done. I have nothing new to offer. And you do not see that what's new is you, your lens, your experience, your energy, your understanding. That is what is new and cannot be replicated no matter what. But when you say it's already been done, I have nothing new to offer, you keep yourself and your gifts hidden. And you are so unique. Like, I can't even put words around your uniqueness, but you are this unique, bright, brilliant star that shines your light in your unique way that's so important in the world. And so all of your experiences make you perceive life in a way that is vital to the web of life. Otherwise, you would not be here. And so it's remembering that as a part of this web of life, for someone, somewhere, you are meant to be that angel, that gift, that remembrance. And that is going to happen the more you remember and honor your unique self. And that everything that you have gone through, all the ways that you think and have thought, it's not about it being perfect or put together. It's just remembering that everything that has led you to where you are now is perfect for the way that you are meant to be in this world and your next evolution of allowing more love in. And the more you make this safe for yourself, the more you are telling others, showing others, resonating to others that they can do it too. And this is the way that we want to work with others' energy, that we can see another, and it's a remembrance that we can do this too. We can, despite X, Y, and Z, embody more love, remember the truth of who we are. And your lived experience is the medicine that your parents, your siblings, your children, your coworkers, that someone can only receive from you. That's how important you are. That's how important your unique essence is to the web of life, to all of life, and to hopefully yourselves. And this is how we resonate with one another. And so we don't have to be doing this all alone. And that love is a process, not just within ourselves, but one that we gather each other towards in remembering, in embodying, in leading and showing up in ourselves, in our lives with this knowingness. So if you are in any of these comparisons, it's not about judging yourself, it's just about being aware. And then being aware of, okay, what is the next step for me? And there were suggestions offered that you can use to start to flip and the script and remember. And again, if you want the skill set, if this is something where you want to really embody this and learn the process on how to do that so that it sticks and it's embodied and it's anchored in, I'm going to be providing some training this summer on that. That's all free. So sign up for my newsletter at michelleburcell.com. I'll have that in the show notes. So until next time, I invite you to know that there is nothing to fix, just to remember. And you already are the love that you came here to be. And the more that this is remembered and embodied with you, the more you will feel it from within and without in all aspects of your life. So I hope this supports you, and I'll see you next week.
I am so honored you have joined me today. If you enjoyed the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, subscribe so you don't miss any of our power-filled episodes. Also, if you know another who is strong, sensitive, and spiritual and wants to dive deeper into emotions and ancient wisdom so they too can create profound peace and fulfillment from within, please share this podcast. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to reconnecting with you soon.